Ever wondered what to do with your knitting swatches? Yeah, someone on Reddit the other day was asking about it, and I actually have a fantastic solution. I've just finished the project that I was using them for and thought I would share it. There's quite a lot of information about what to do with when you have a single ball of yarn or just small amounts, lots of different projects that you can do, and some really great ones on there and loads of videos for it. But when you are knitting a project, sometimes you make a little square or something just to see how tight your knitting is compared to the pattern, to then make sure that you can make it fit. Because if you knit looser or if your yarn isn't the same, it can come up differently. And also, some people, when they start a project and then they change their mind, they're really good about doing what's called frogging, which is when you unravel the yarn. So you've started knitting your jumper, you've realised it's coming out way too big, so you just wind it back and then you cast on the right amount and you fix it that way. But sometimes you just make a little something and then you're oh, I can't really be bothered to undo it. It's made from a really cheap yarn, or it's a yarn that you're not enjoying using anyway, so you don't really have any desire to undo it. And what do you do with that? What do you do with the little bits of knitting and crochet and half abandoned projects, and I did this much of a scarf and I've changed my mind that I don't want to do the rest of the 5 feet of it or whatever. So here is a solution for you. Someone was asking about it on Reddit. What you do is you find somebody with a very eccentric dress style, and preferably quite a large body surface area, although depending on how long you want the project to take, and how big pieces you usually make and then abandon. I hunted around the back of a vegan cafe and I found Vic, who is very generously broad-shouldered, quite big, and enjoys wearing these vest tops, kind of like the Aladdin ones, so they don't necessarily do up down the middle, sleeveless and generally fairly straight with large pockets. So I thought that's a really easy shape to work with as a base. So last April or so, I made the back. So this is a curtain that I got from a charity shop, and I just cut out a really basic shape. This is the back. It's got the armholes, and then this is the front, which is just split down the centre. And just made this really basic vest shape with a little bit of round on the collar, the arm shape, and then sewed it, and I put all of the seams on the other side of this. So this is the lining of the jacket. And then what I did is I took any swatches, UFOs, abandoned pieces, little bits of project that didn't quite work out right, test squares and things like that, and I've sewn them together over the top in a freeform crochet over the past year. Some bits are from me, some bits are from my best friend, and made the absolute craziest looking Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat style piece. It's fully mad. You've seen it, I think last October. He saw it and he tried it on because I was thinking what if I've made it too small, and I'm going to go, I've finished it, and he's like, I can't get it over my shoulders. There was enough on to give us an idea of what it looked like, but also not so much that I couldn't open up a seam and add more. So yeah, this is the final piece. He loved it when he saw it partially finished, and it's only got weirder from there. And I wanted to make a little video about it because I wanted to talk about what some of the projects were and what some of the pieces were, because as I was going through it, it had so many great little memories and stuff. So the piece at the top is the yoke that my friend started. She decided she wanted to make a fingering weight jumper, so it's a really thin yarn, and it's really pretty. It's a self-striping one, it's a sock yarn, and she started it and then it was just fuck this, because it's so thin. It was going to just take her so long, and she's quite big as well, so yeah, she decided against it. She got this far into the yoke. I cut it down the middle actually to make it like a cardigan, and when I finished the edge, I just crocheted along it, and I was just using a back stitch to attach the edge to the lining. So I just folded the edge of the cotton fabric, which is what this is, curtain cotton fabric. I folded that over and then just sewed to it, the same as I would if I was lining anything else or putting in a zip or anything like that. So this is a little crochet edge just to finish that nicely after I just cut through it with scissors. And I hand sewed everything because it's not that many seams and they're not that big, and they all got done at different times and stuff. And then I've done a little crochet edge next to it. This is from when I made a pair of trousers too big, so it's got a little just bit of fabric, which was going to make it really difficult to use in stash because I'd already folded it and I'd attached this bit of ribbon. But I made the waistband way too big, so I just cut this little piece off, and now it's part of this pocket. I kind of wanted to disguise the pockets a bit, so they're like a questionable shape. So that's fun. The top of it is a bookmark. This is some milk cotton that I gave to my friend. I made her partner a bag out of it, and then I gave her the rest because these aren't colours that I particularly like. And she wanted to try crocheting with some milk cotton, and she couldn't remember how to do like a star shape. So she was like, I'll just try this and see how a granny star was. So she made a little granny star for it. This is actually a little piece of weaving. And my friend bought a loom, and someone had used it a little bit, and they'd made this little kind of bookmarky piece, and it's all unfinished at the ends and stuff. So all the unfinished ends are hidden under here. And then this is just another piece, which is also then providing a little bit of bonus stability at the bottom of this pocket. And it's got like wool, and it's got whatever this is, which is a little bit more like hempy, and all the like different colours striping in. My friend was trying to remember how to make flat discs on crochet. So she made this one. She made this one. She asked me, she couldn't quite remember, so she'd made this one, which I did a little bit of like squaring up to try and fit it in a bit better with everything. And then when I reminded her how, because she finally was like, God, I can't remember how to do this, I told her. And so she made this blue one. And she said, like, I don't think I quite like this yarn with it because it's single ply, so it's making it too soft. So she's made a blanket which looks like a giant eyeball, which is fantastic. This was when she was trying to learn how to use the like centro thing and work out how to do the tension, that when you've got like a crank and it makes a tube of knitting. That's what this is. So this is actually double layered, but because she was still working out yarn thickness, it's a bit thin, and working out how to change colour and doing all of that. Lest I suggest that I didn't actually contribute all that many swatches. I was trying to remember how to do entrelac knitting. So this was just a whole load of ball ends that I got as part of a D-stash, and how to do entrelac. I got a couple of cones from a big D-stash, and I thought, yeah, let's try some out, holding the more unusual fibres together. So I've got like 2 really thin bits of nylon, and I was like, oh, I could make like a drapey top, and it was just an absolute nightmare to work with like that. So the cast on edge and like the centimetre before I gave up on that is now attached here on top of this is going to be a really great project and stitch, and the colour is fine, but also the fabric is too soft and drapey, which B was doing. And she'd attempted to make a lace scarf a really long time ago, and was just like, fuck this. So this is the remainder. Oh, that looks so pretty like that. This is the remainder of that lace scarf. This is just a triangle because I wanted to make a triangle. This was trying out a waffle stitch. There's another pocket here you can kind of see the top of, but it's disguised, like the bottom of it's along here. Yeah, trying to remember how to make round. This was me trying to make some really basic wrist warmers, but the construction method I was using to make them for my friend meant that the tension was really weird, so it was like super tight and then like flaring out. So now it's here as kind of a secret bonus second crochet pocket. We went and learnt Tunisian crochet at a wool show, so this is the swatch that I made with that. And this is also Tunisian crochet. I decided I was going to try and hold mohair with something. I love navy together. I found some navy mohair in a charity shop. I decided I was going to hold it with a strand of other people have been using wool. This is just Poundland acrylic because I love it with that navy and red together. And I thought, oh, I'll do the Ada shawl from TL Yarn Crafts. And I started, and like I did not enjoy Tunisian crocheting with the mohair. It was really thick, and I only have the one size of hook. So this is the Abandon project. I subsequently knitted a dress with the two yarns held together, and that was much better. I thought maybe I'd make a triangle shawl, and then I changed my mind. I was trying to work out like what lace to do, and it just wasn't working. This is all very little ends. So I've made the basket before, which I have, just here, some yarn in it. I made this basket before with like holding just the really little ends together. But this is crocheted, and I thought maybe it would work as well with knit garter stitch. So that's what I tried here. I did not enjoy it, and also I was just trying to use up the coral as well because I really hate this colour. I destashed it. I destashed that colour. It's ready to be used as like a practice stitch. This was I was thinking about attaching the threads down and like making them artistic, but I think I just like them trailing. We can attach them later if it's really annoying or they're getting caught in stuff or can be tied in a bow. This is a barefoot sandal. I was it last summer or the summer before? I think it might have been even like 2 or 3 years ago. I decided I was going to make barefoot sandals for everybody. I was going to a family barbecue, and I decided I'd make barefoot sandals for my like sisters-in-laws and my mum and I think maybe I made them for my niece as well. I don't know. So every woman was getting some barefoot sandals. So like the little loop goes on here. It kind of looks like a almost just called them thongs, like the Australian term flip-flops. It kind of looks like the top of flip-flops, and then you like tie it around the ankle, and so then you've got bare feet, but it kind of looks like you're wearing sandals for summer times. I wanted to make it look like sunflowers. This does not look like sunflowers, so I used a different design, but this was the one that I made. I thought, oh, I'll make another one. Nah. Excuse me. This is a stitch pattern that I was trying out. We call it the Forbidden Bacon. I guess it kind of looks like a waveform like this. I was making a blanket for my friend who wasn't feeling very well, and by the time I gave it to her again, she like got sick immediately after, so she was like perfect. But yeah, so this was just me trying out that stitch pattern, just having a go, like with the entrelac, like, let's try that out. I thought I'd make a blanket out of these squares, but these squares were really boring, and I'm making different things now. So this was just the blanket square I was unable to use. It works well to cover this shoulder. And yeah, that's just like the whole project. Oh, this was going to be some slippers. So I'd made like the triangle part, but the yarn wasn't doing it well and it didn't want to frog back nicely. So now it's just on here. This was the tiny little leftover bit of chenille yarn, so it's really like soft to touch. That I'd made a blanket for my friend. I crocheted one, and I had just like a little bit left of one colour. So this is just that crocheted into a little granny square that's slightly longer on one edge and very tactile. This was a sock that I was trying crocheting. I have subsequently made the socks, but I made them with a double crochet rather than a single crochet like this because it was making it really dense. And yeah, so that's like the whole project. I haven't like touched on every little piece of whatever, because some of it was just like, this is like the last piece that I crocheted, and it was just a crochet bit to fill a gap with a little end of yarn that I had laying around that I wasn't sure what to do with. But yeah, so this is what I've done with all of my swatches. And they're all little abandoned bits of projects or little pieces of learning, or yeah, I think it's probably fair to say that this is all learning. This is all something that was an idea that never turned into a finished object, and it's a way to kind of celebrate that. I said that Bitk worked at a vegan cafe. The place where I met him was a place local in Southampton called the Art House, and a lot about that was expressing creativity, poetry, music, more traditional forms of art as well. And there's a really strong vibe in that area and like within that venue, within that space, within the community, of being a little bit experimental and learning and growing. And so I think it's a really nice way to honour that process for yourself as well as a maker, because I think if you just get into the thing of frogging back all of your mistakes, if you get into frogging back your UFOs or throwing them away, hiding them in a drawer or something like that, that we can end up putting that extra pressure on ourselves for that perfectionism, and that's really unhelpful in the most part. Sometimes you want the yarn and you frog something and that's absolutely fine, and sometimes making a change to something turns it from something that you don't like into something that you can enjoy. The yarn that sat in that basket that I'm just picking up is from a frogged project, because I wanted the yarn and I didn't want the project. But sometimes it's worth taking all of the learning, turning it into some massive jacket, and keeping somebody warm with it. And it has pockets. This is the full thing. This is the full madness. I'm sure he's gonna love it. And I finished it just as the weather's getting really warm, and he'll get no use out of it until 4 months' time. Just kidding, it's England. It'll be cold again soon. What I'm really saying is you can fit a lot of rubles in a dead rat if you really try. Have fun, stay safe, keep knitting.